This story has not been embellished in any way whatsoever. In fact, I think I've downplayed how intense this dude was about this fucking Wellington. We got set up with this amazing lunch and we go over there and the first thing that happens is they're like, oh, you're not wearing suits. And we were like, oh, do we have to wear suits for lunch? And they're like, yes, you have to wear a full suit. Now I had a suit, but the other guys didn't have suits. So we're like, oh, we're fucking chalked. And they're like, don't worry, we have suits. And we were like, what? Huh? Like, we're going to buy a suit? And they're like, no. We have loaner suits. And we were like, huh? They dressed us from head to toe in rental suits, but we didn't have to pay for them. They just dressed us. And we all looked like when you inherit your dad's suit for your bar mitzvah and it's like too big and it kind of fits at odd angles. We all looked like we went in there and we're like, this is ridiculous. And the dining room at the Ritz is one of the most lavish things you've ever seen in your life. It's all gold. Everything is ornate. It's beautiful, and everyone else there is there for like a special occasion or high tea or whatever. So we went in there, and we looked like American arms dealers, right? Because our suits all sucked. I'm with two fucking bald guys. We're all sweating because it's 1,000 degrees in London. So we look like oil barons and arms dealers. And so we were just like, you know what? We're going to embrace this. We're going to get trashed. We were there at noon and we were fucked up beyond all recognition. We were very drunk. So we immediately order a drink, and the waiter that was tasked with us, I could not place on a map where in Europe he was from. He could have been from France or Croatia. I have no idea. I think he might have been Italian. He came up and he's like, gentlemen, I see we are having the pre-course meal. The pre-plated, a fine choice. This comes with da-da-da-da, and we need your decision on this, and da-da-da-da-da. So we make our decisions, and one of the things is the Beef Wellington. But let me express to you how much fucking food is included in this pre-course meal. The food just keeps coming out, and it's such a Michelin star restaurant thing to do, to bring out extra food. So they're bringing out a bunch of shit that we didn't even fucking order. You know what I mean? Like every 10 minutes they come out and they're like, the chef has sent to you this seafoam napkin. And we're like, oh, what do you do? Oh, you wipe the corners of your mouth with the seafoam, and then I spray some salt in your mouth. It's delicious. And this is happening like and it's food you've never fucking heard of. It's shit that like shouldn't exist. Oh, this is the deconstructed pigeon. Here is his heart. Here is his hamstring. And you're like, what the fuck even is this? It's amazing. Everything is delicious. And then he brings out the Wellington, which is on the pre-course menu, but it's an add-on, right? It's an additional cost add-on. And they're fucking expensive. I think the Beef Wellington was $120 by itself. But we were like, we're here. Everything else in London sucks. Let's just go full tilt on this. So they bring out the Wellington, and I shit you not, it was one of those dishes that like you instantly come. I don't know how else to say that. But you know when you're eating food so good, you do like and you like look around at everybody else at the table, and it's like oddly silent for like 30 seconds as people start to eat it. And then you like look to each other and you're like, holy fuck, dude. Holy shit. So it's a big Wellington too. It's like this big. It's like a loaf of meat. We fucking bury it. And we ate it in like 30 seconds. And we're like 3/4 through this pre-plated meal. And we've each had like 5,000 calories easily. But we're hammered. And we look at each other and we go, should we try and get another one of these Wellingtons? Because we all understand how fucking special this beef Wellington is. I've had the Gordon Ramsay Wellington in Vegas at his restaurant, and I've had other Wellingtons, and this one takes a big fat shit on Gordon Ramsay's Wellington. 100%. Not even in the same fucking universe. So we look at each other and we go, yeah, we'll ask our server if he can do it. So he comes over and he goes, gentlemen, how are you enjoying the meal? We are heading into the palate cleansing portion of the meal. We were wondering, is there any way that we could add another Wellington to our dinner? And dude, it was honestly like this. And he was like, gentlemen, are you telling me that you would like to add an additional Wellington to your dinner or to your lunch? I'm sorry, this is a lunch. We're eating a second beef Wellington at lunch. To your lunch? Yeah. That's yeah, if it's possible. You're asking me to add a second beef Wellington to your lunch. Yeah. Gentlemen, I will return shortly. But this is very unusual. And we were like, oh. On what? Did he sound stressed? He sounded stressed. And he comes back and he was like, dude, he was like, I'm shitting you not. He was like crestfallen. He was like, he like put his hands on the table and he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I know your meal is probably destroyed now, but there is no way to do a second Wellington. We create Wellingtons the day before for our pre-made menu. And there is no way to create another Wellington. And we were so okay without there being a second Wellington. No one at the table blinked, right? No one at the, we were all like, oh, it's cool, man. You know, we were just seeing if it was possible. And I feel like he's so used to like exorbitantly rich people being like, no Wellington, that he almost took this as like a more intense form of disrespect than us being angry. Like we didn't expect that much of the Ritz, I feel like is what he took it as. And so he was like, I will ask the kitchen again. I will return. So he like scurries off and we were like, man, we're having such a good time. I hope he's not taking this too badly. Like we felt bad, like we were ruining his time. And he came back and this time he, gentlemen, we have done the math. We have had a team of physicists crunching numbers in the kitchen round the clock. There is simply no way within the rules of God and man to produce for you today another Wellington. The fallout would be disastrous. And we were like, oh my God, man. It's okay. We don't need a second. Well, we were just kind of doing it to be funny. You know, it's okay. Oh, so you think our Wellington is funny? Wow, no. Sergio, no, please. We've had our, no, it's okay. It's okay. All right. As long as you're still okay. We want you to have the utmost great time. So he like apologizes profusely. And he, again, brings out more free shit for us. He brought out a tasting flight of chocolates. This is all true. I have not embellished a goddamn thing. A tasting flight of like 6 chocolates. That like in the middle of a lunch. That's been 2 hours and 10 minutes already. And then he comes out 10 minutes later, and this is all true. The multiple times, this is all true. And he comes out and he goes, gentlemen, by some miracle of God, the chef has informed me that we will be able to bring you a second Wellington. And the table, We're the last ones in the dining hall now. We are the last ones still at this lunch. It's been 2 hours and 30 minutes. He brings out a second Wellington and we absolutely bury it. We fucking bury it. At the end of the meal, like, additional people from the Ritz came out and they were like, these are the gentlemen who loved the Wellington so much that they were willing to sacrifice their sanity to order a second one. And we were like, what the hell is fucking going on? And anyway, we finished the meal and we paid and tipped, and they had a pianist that was playing just for us at that point because everyone else had left. And they escorted us out and we gave them their suits back. And we went on our way, and I literally went back. It was probably like 3 o'clock in the afternoon at that point. And Hassan was baffled
your storytelling
as to what was going on, because Hassan was like, hey, do you want to come IRL? And I was like, oh, I got to go to lunch. It's been 3 hours at this point. And he's like, where are you guys? It's been 3 hours. And I'm like, oh, we just finished lunch. He was like, what? You just finished lunch? And anyway, we went up, and I went and met up with them. The other guys, I think, went and fell asleep. But I just remember the rest of the day, I was walking around and I was like, oh my God, 2 Beef Wellingtons is too many. We were so full. And the funniest part about this is that it was such the highlight of our trip that when we went to Amsterdam, Joe was like, do you want to do that again? And I was like, do what again? And he was like, there is another Michelin 3-star restaurant in Amsterdam called Winkles that we can go do. And this is not an exaggeration. This is not an exaggeration. Marsh can tell you I am not exaggerating at all. A 16-course dinner. We did a 16-course dinner. And beyond that, there was a wine tasting menu where they would bring out a different wine with every course. Now, I don't know if you know this, but when you are tasting 16 wines, you're supposed to spit out some of them or all of them so that you don't get rip shit fucking hammered. I knew this. The rest of the table didn't know this. And so we were just drinking these motherfuckers. 16 glasses of wine. And at one point, Hassan looks over and he sees someone at another table rinse and spit. And he went, what the fuck was that? And I go, Hassan, not everybody wants to drink 16 glasses of wine with their dinner. And he's like, so everybody else is spitting it out? And I was like, yeah, dude, we were giga obliterated to the point where, again, I think we had a 6-hour dinner or something like that. By the end of this, we crawled out of the restaurant. We were the last ones there. We were obliterated. Everything I put in my mouth was like designed by like, it made no sense. Like the same amount of technology that went into a suspension bridge was going into these dishes. There was one that was a lemon meringue, a hard lemon meringue around a sashimi whitefish on top of a roe Rice Krispie treat. And when I put it in my mouth, I had a head to toe body shaking orgasm. I looked at it and I was like, there's no way this is going to be good. And I ate it and I was just like I immediately like looked around the table and I was like, oh, fuck, man. It was absolutely insane. Was this the Wellington? Oh my God, that is the Wellington. How the fuck did you find this?
I don't take no shit from anyone.
That's the Wellington! And that's the Ritz dining room! That, oh my, look at that motherfucker.
Last time as well, you were 8 waiter.
I think that's the guy! Look at that sassy bitch. And they do like a whole show when they bring it out. Like people look over and they're like, oh, they got the Wellington. Because they like wheel it out. Dude, the craziest thing that they do. Every time they bring out a course, they don't have one server bring it out. They have one server for every person sitting at your table. So when they come out, they all come out in unison. And they put the food down. And they look at each other and they grab the tops and all in unison they go, shisha, and they reveal the food at the same time. And that shit blew my mind the first time they did it. I was like, what the fuck? What is this, the Laker girls dance team? This shit is fucking sick. So just for the record, was it one additional Wellington each? No, cut, dude. Bro. I can only imagine what the panic would have been if we ordered an additional 4 Wellingtons. If we had ordered 4 Wellingtons, I'm pretty sure our server would have just committed harikiri. Immediately blown his own brains out, dude. If we ate 1 Wellington and ordered an additional 4, he would have gone, oh my gosh, my goodness. You're telling me that our Wellington was so unsatisfactory that you each need your own additional Wellington.